Have you ever trusted someone so completely that you couldn't see the danger right in front of you? Now, imagine that someone is a charming widow, offering you love, comfort, and the promise of a new life. You step onto her farm, your pockets filled with everything you've saved, your heart full of hope. But you never leave. This is the story of Belle Gunness, the Butcher of La Porte, a woman who turned her Indiana farmhouse into a graveyard for more than 40 victims. A master of deception, Belle vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions, shattered lives, and a legacy of terror. Tonight, on the Fear Lab, we unravel the twisted mind of one of the most prolific female serial killers in history. Buckle up, because this story is not for the faint of heart. Are you ready to walk through the fog of history and uncover the chilling truth? To understand how Belle Gunness became a cold-blooded killer, we must first step back in time to her roots. Belle Gunness was born Brynhild Paulsdatter on November 11, 1859, in the small, picturesque village of Selbu, Norway. Life in Selbu was harsh, especially for families like Belle's. Her father, a stonemason, worked tirelessly, but the family struggled to make ends meet. Despite these hardships, Belle was ambitious, hungry for a life beyond the confines of her rural upbringing. Stories circulated that even as a young girl, Belle exhibited unusual traits, an uncanny ability to manipulate those around her, and a cold detachment when it came to empathy. At the age of 22, Brynhild left Selbu for America, changing her name to Belle Gunness to blend into her new surroundings. To her, the United States represented freedom, opportunity, and perhaps most importantly, wealth. But what Belle discovered in her adopted homeland wasn't just opportunity. It was a chance to exploit a system where life insurance policies could mean profit, and where trust could be turned into a deadly weapon. Her journey from a poor Norwegian immigrant to one of the most feared women in America had begun. In 1884, Belle married her first husband, Mads Albert Sorensen, and the couple opened a small confectionery store. But despite their efforts, the business struggled. Then, as if by miracle or misfortune, the store burned down. His relatives demanded an inquiry, suspecting foul play, but there wasn't enough evidence to charge Belle. And so she walked away, richer than ever. Coincidence? Perhaps. But this was only the beginning of her deadly pattern. After leaving Chicago, Belle purchased a 42-acre farm in La Porte, Indiana, and quickly remarried. Her new husband, Peter Gunness, a butcher, must have thought he'd found a loving partner. But just 8 months into their marriage, Peter suffered a fatal accident, or so Belle claimed. According to her, a meat grinder fell from a high shelf and struck Peter in the head. Neighbors were suspicious, and one even reported hearing Belle's foster daughter Jenny say, "My mama killed my papa. She hit him with a cleaver." But once again, Belle evaded justice. Peter's death didn't slow Belle down. In fact, it seemed to embolden her. Soon, Jenny disappeared, and Belle explained that she had sent the girl away to school. The truth would only emerge years later when Jenny's remains were unearthed on Belle's property. By the early 1900s, Belle had perfected her scheme. She began placing personal ads in lovelorn columns, targeting wealthy, lonely men. Her ads were simple but effective. Personal, comely widow with large farm seeks gentleman for companionship. Must bring investment. One by one, the suitors arrived, each carrying cash, jewelry or savings to start a new life with Belle. John Moo, Henry Gurholt, Ole Budsberg. The list of names grew longer. Each man entered her farmhouse alive, but none left it. What happened to them? Most were poisoned or bludgeoned to death. Belle then dragged their bodies to shallow graves or her hog pen, where her pigs devoured the evidence. It was a chillingly efficient system. And the most horrifying part? Belle showed no remorse. To her, these men were not people. They were investments. In 1908, Belle's crimes finally caught up with her. A man named Asle Hegelen arrived in La Porte, searching for his brother Andrew, one of Belle's recent suitors. His inquiries raised suspicions, and Belle realized the walls were closing in. Then, on April 28, 1908, her farmhouse burned to the ground. Among the ruins, investigators found the charred bodies of her 3 foster children and a headless adult female. Authorities assumed it was Belle. But was it? Ray Lamphere, Belle's former handyman and lover, confessed to helping Belle fake her death. He claimed the headless body was a decoy and Belle had fled with her wealth. His story cast doubt on the official narrative and fueled speculation about Belle's ultimate fate. Let's take a moment to step back and think. What kind of person could commit such atrocities without hesitation? Was Belle Gunness born a killer, or was she shaped by circumstances? Now, here's a question for you, our viewers. If you lived in La Porte during Belle's time, would you have suspected her? Could you imagine a neighbor committing such horrific acts? Drop your theories in the comments below. What do you think happened to Belle after the fire? Did she escape justice, or was her luck finally exhausted? And most chillingly, how many more victims might there be? Unknown and forgotten. The story of Belle Gunness is one of greed, deception, and pure evil. It's a grim reminder that monsters don't always hide in the shadows. They can live among us, wearing a smile. If this tale of horror kept you on the edge of your seat, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the Fear Lab. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the world's darkest stories. Join us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where we continue the conversation. Share your theories, debate the mysteries, and help us uncover more untold tales of terror. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, the truth is often scarier than fiction. Good night and sweet dreams.